like to open the regularly scheduled meeting of the Town of Wenham's Planning Board. It's Wednesday, April 8th, 2026. We are back in Wenham Town Hall, so exciting. We are also on Zoom, and David Anderson, one of the members, is joining us on Zoom. We also have some other attendees on Zoom, and we will announce them at the point in which they want to speak. The meeting is being recorded. And the first item on our agenda is a public hearing on some amendments to the planning board rules and regulations. Do you want to read the legal notice in? Do you want me to read it in? And then I can explain what the change is. Do you know what it is? I can read it. Okay. You want? Do you have it? I have it right in front of me. So the legal notice was posted in Hamwen News on Friday, March 20th, 2026, and Friday, March 27th, 2026. Notice is provided that Wenham Planning Board will conduct a hearing pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 41, Section 81Q, on proposed amendments to the Planning Board rules and regulations. The hearing is being held on Wednesday, April 8th at 7 p.m. in the Wenham Town Hall at 138 Main Street, Wenham. The hearing is a hybrid meeting, as you can see, and as I've announced, is being held in person and virtually via Zoom. The link to the Zoom meeting is available on the Planning Board's agenda, which is found on the town's calendar of upcoming events at www.wenham.gov. 48 hours prior to the public hearing, at which time all interested persons may appear and be heard. So the hearing is to amend the planning board rules and regulations to remove language under section 6, which is entitled information to be furnished to the board, and add instead an appendix A, Wenham construction and post-construction stormwater management rules and regulations. These amendments are being made in order to comply with the requirements of the town's general permit for stormwater discharges from the municipal separate storm system, otherwise known as the MS4 permit, which was issued by EPA in April 2016 and became effective on July 1st, 2018. Copy of the full text of the proposed amendment is on file at the office of the town clerk at the town hall. Complete text of the proposed amendment also can be downloaded by visiting the website. So what we're going to do is hold a public hearing to hear from anyone interested before adopting detailed regulations regarding construction and post-construction stormwater management. The regulations are part of the requirements to maintain compliance with our MS4 permit, which in turn is required under the Federal Clean Water Act for certain municipalities. Because the town of Wenham also includes and is located in the watershed for and in proximity to sensitive and impaired waters, we have enhanced stormwater management and compliance obligations. The purpose of the regulations is to maintain, protect, enhance public health, safety, environment, and general welfare by establishing minimum requirements and procedures to control the adverse effects of soil erosion and sedimentation, construction, post-development stormwater runoff, decreased groundwater recharge, and non-point source pollution associated with new development, redevelopment, and other land alterations, as is more specifically addressed separately in the town's construction and post-construction stormwater management bylaw. MS4 permitting is required so that Wenham and development in Wenham can discharge stormwater runoff under the control of US EPA's National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, fondly known as NIPDES. Under that permitting system and the regulations, a discharge is permitted so long as pollution into our waterways is controlled and minimized. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I just will say that the planning board's responsibility under the MS4 framework is to ensure that any construction projects that disturb more than an acre of land do not contribute pollutants into the stormwater system during construction and minimize them post-construction. At the April 2025 town meeting, just to remind everybody, we amended the general bylaws by naming our Chapter 210 Stormwater Management Bylaw we renamed it to call it Illicit Discharge Bylaw, which regulates and prohibits an improper discharge of water into the stormwater system. And we added a new section, chapter 211, sorry, entitled Construction and Post-Construction Stormwater Management. Same requirements. The adoption of the new bylaw gives the planning board the authority to adopt regulations that developers and builders must follow when their development disturbs more than an acre of land. So all of that having been said, I'm not going to go any further, but to introduce Tim, and I'm going to butcher your name, as I'm sure many people do. I'm sorry about that. I think it's DeGuglielmo from Weston and Sampson, who can maybe say a little bit more about what's in these regulations and answer technical questions. Tim, you are on Zoom.
Yep. Can everyone hear me? Yep. Yeah. So, like you said, this was kind of the general permit through EPA, and one of the parts of that permit was to develop these construction and post-construction regulations. A lot of the stuff you had something similar probably in your planning and in Concom, but this kind of encapsulates that, and they have a little more strict stuff for the stuff that's going to disturb over the acre. Which is your larger, most likely subdivisions and commercial, type developments, if they're going to get up that big. When they're actually it's not just an acre lot; it's when they disturb that area of an acre.
Right.
So, and so this just kind of sets up a permit that they would have to submit to the planning board, and for you guys to review and approve, provided they meet all the requirements in there. So a lot of it has to do with the post-construction stuff, which is, making sure they have enough BMPs in their stormwater system to remove, total suspended solids and some phosphorus and stuff like that. So, your sedimentation ponds, stuff you've probably seen already, in some of these larger developments. So.
Any questions from the board for Tim? Any questions from folks either online or in the room for Tim?
Do you want to read through the regulations real quick?
No, I'm not going to read through them real quick. I have looked at them, read through them, but I'm not going to read through them.
Crafted with the help of the EPA.
Right. And it is true to the EPA specifications.
Yeah.
The only thing I would ask is, does it say anything about minimizing water use in development in landscape designs in order to minimize, or is this really about runoff, only about runoff and not about landscape design that minimizes runoff? In other words, is this about the engineering work that you do to minimize the problem, or is it also about the design work that you do?
It's really related to the MS4 kind of covers the stormwater system, I guess, in the municipal stormwater system. So anything that's kind of would go into that system. So not as much. They are required to at least evaluate low impact development, which could maybe have some similar type stuff. And at least
limiting impervious surfaces and different
yeah.
kinds of vegetation that do a good job at capturing.
There's a section right here, section D, talks about low impact design.
Right.
And landscape.
Yeah. So they're required to evaluate at least.
I'm sure people haven't.
At least give reasoning why they can't make some of these low impact development into the into the design, techniques into the design. So.
Okay, great. If there are no other questions from anyone, we can move to close the public hearing. Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make the motion, close the public hearing.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Dan? David, sorry. Okay. And then I would move to adopt the Wenham construction and post-construction stormwater management rules and regulations to be part of the planning board administrative rules and regulations as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Yeah. Aye. Aye.
Unanimously. Item 1. Thank you. We are now in compliance with the Federal Clean Water Act, which I love. Second item on the agenda, sift through the papers, we had started the public hearing about the Select Energy site plan approval and special permit in March, and they've asked for a continuance to the next available meeting date. What is happening there? Can you tell us?
Yeah, here's,
more
they
about that?
asked to be continued to the May meeting date.
Is it just that they're not?
So
What-
there
what's
was a
the
couple
issue?
of technical items that came up in their most recent, review of the plan. I think it was, the location of the lines and where they're gonna go from the property out to Grapevine Road. They're
Okay.
still not positive about that. So they need a little more time to
Okay,
figure that out, and they wanted to send in revised plans, but they wouldn't have gotten here till like just the other day, and so that was too soon. So
Yeah.
they agreed, they wanted to do a continuance.
there was a draft report too that came in from National Grid
Yeah.
before the last meeting. Will we have the final? Of
They
that?
didn't mention that.
They didn't
but
mention
We
it.
will,
Could you
I'll make sure,
ask?
Yeah. they know
This-
from the last
this-
meeting what they need to do.
Yeah, if you just remind them about that one, there's some things in there that I wasn't that crazy about. So then we have an administrative agenda.
I think you just need to vote to continue that hearing.
Oh, yeah,
Thank you.
I need a motion to continue the hearing,
We'll make a motion to continue the hearing to the next available.
which is
Which would be.
May 8th, did you say?
Sorry, get my calendar, I think it's. mm, April, May 13th.
May 15th.
Yep, May,
To
Wednesday.
May 13th.
Second.
That's-
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Alright,
David? Yes. Right, then we have an administrative agenda. There are folks here in the room. Can you tell me which item you're here for? Because I want to move things around.
Cabin Forbes, the
Kevin.
proposal at 62 Essex.
Okay, that's our third item, so would everybody on the board feel comfortable if we move that up?
Well, I'm from Hancock. I'm here to present the A&R plan.
Oh, the A&R plan. Okay, sorry about that. I didn't see.
And that's in front of.
That's in front, so why don't we take you?
Great.
And then we'll go to cabinet reforms, and then we can have our conversations about the.
I know you got a copy of this plan, but I brought a colored version.
Play with Mylar here.
My name is Bill Small. I'm a land surveyor from Hancock Associates, and I'm here representing the Essex County Greenbelt. They are in the process of purchasing this property. It's 118 acres.
This is a Streeter property.
The Streeter property, right?
Yeah.
It currently is. Won't be in a few weeks. but
Well,
it's-
we're probably gonna call it the Streeter property until we all keel over and die, because that's just how things are there, but so.
So this is at the corner of Topsfield Road and Maple Street. And basically, the idea is to just cut out the portions of the property that has the buildings on it and leave the rest as remaining land. So we're gonna be keeping with the buildings on it, 20 acres, 20 acres, and the remaining 97.5 acres is just remaining land that is eventually gonna have a conservation restriction on it, so it's not intended ever to be built on. But this is the first step in a process that a conservation restriction will come after this. And actually, there's gonna be another plan coming from the planning board to divide this into two. To divide out currently there are two buildings, 9 and 7, and they're gonna be divided further after this is approved, hopefully approved.
There's the two-story frame up by the street, and then the
And then
big
the-
house in the
Right,
back,
this
is that the way?
That's the way it's gonna be divided.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, on the
I
hope.
mean, we don't have to.
Approval not required,
We don't have
so.
to prove it. No motion required on this one.
There is a motion, you still have the motion to endorse.
Okay, but we don't approve it, that's the trick.
No.
So I need a motion to endorse this plan for 7 to 9 Maple Street.
make a motion to endorse the plan on 7 and 9 Maple Street.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Aye. We have a pen here, we can sign it.
Mhm.
Do you need us to sign it before you can leave, or can we do that at the end of our meeting?
It's up to you. We can send someone to pick it up afterwards, or if you wanna sign it, I'll grab it now.
Why don't we- Well, David's not here, is the only
Yeah.
thing, so he's gonna.
Okay, so we can come back and sign it at your leisure.
Yeah.
I think
Dave
the
need to
important-
sign it?
Need to, we only need
We only
three.
need three.
Oh, well,
Yeah, you only need.
that's fair. I was thinking we've only got 4 members. Still a majority.
We will not require card helps.
That can work over
And
there.
yet they still
Yep.
have to approve.
I know, it's not funny.
Sort of a misnomer.
And it's only in Mass.
Once it next.
Really?
I get the voice too.
Oops.
Mm,
Is the property on the left side included in the proposal? You know,
Not, it is in the overall deal, but it's not part of this. It's a separate, probably it's actually a separate.
Well,
ownership,
fair
separate
enough.
assessment. But it is part of eventually. That's gonna be planned on
where's the cat?
anything else then? You surveyed yourself?
Well, I was saying when I cruise out.
Okay.
I did the work.
It's easy, it's not like it just nice place.
Fun to touch a Mylar. I love that.
Can also scan it and send you guys a copy of this.
Yeah, that'd be good, thank you. Statement.
Yep.
There we go.
Thank you very much.
You need, you want this?
Oh, these are the last.
I'm guessing you want the podium, so. The next item is an informal meeting with Cabot and Forbes, representing Penguin Hall property at 62 Essex. Formally representing or informally? I mean, have you purchased it? I guess you'll tell us all that.
We have not purchased it. We have a contract to acquire the property.
You do. Okay.
Members of the board, my name is Matt D'Amico.
Matt, before you get started, Kevin Forbes, is Jay Doherty still
Yes.
affiliated? Okay, let me just make a disclosure before you begin. About 10 years ago or so, I represented Cabot and Forbes in a litigation matter. I don't think it presents a conflict of interest, but I want to make this disclosure before you get going.
Be interested to hear more about that.
It's a lot of lawyers on this board. So.
Appreciate the time tonight. Purpose of setting this up for CCNF today as a prospective buyer of 62 Essex Street in Wenham, formerly known as Penguin Hall, is really to try to treat this as an informational session about some of our intentions in redeveloping the property and try to get some feedback from you all as to how you view our proposal today. What we're trying to put forward is intentionally conceptual in nature. Before any sort of special permit filing, there's a lot that would change and a lot more research that needs to be done in terms of site conditions, but want to just give you a flavor of who we are, the type of work we do, and what we would propose for this site. Is there a clicker that might make it easier for
Margaret, do you have a clicker for the machine, or do you have? to
No,
do
just
it?
tell me and I'll.
Yeah, if you can go to the
I
next one,
just wanna
please.
make sure Kate's seen. David,
She's,
Kate's
Kate,
on
can
it.
you see this, the presentation on the screen? Okay, good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
terrific.
Yep, let me know. when
And I
can-
should just say in the, Dan did his disclosure. I think we are happy to hear and listen. I don't think we can give you, specific feedback without seeing a formal application, so.
Sounds good. So just as a brief introduction, so CCNF, Cabot Forbes, we're a developer primarily in New England. Over the course of our history, we've been all across the country, but today and date, we're focused on projects in Greater Boston. The proposal at 62 Essex Street is going to be 66 homes, 55 plus age restricted, plus the historic restoration and preservation of the manor house on the property. Put up a couple images here, just give you a flavor of some of the work that we do. We have a long history in historic restoration of different properties. This is a property we recently delivered in the city of Boston called the Overlook at St. Gabriel's. As part of that, we had two historic buildings we had to take care of. One, which was a large church that you see in the foreground of the image, and the other terracotta roof. In the rear is an old monastery that we brought back to life and turned into 24 residential units. If you go to the next slide. Here's just an example of the work that went into that, and this project was really a great example, and it's very different in many, many ways, but very similar in a lot of other ways of basically leveraging the new development that will occur on the property to be able to subsidize a lot of the costs that go into really appreciating the old historic property that was there. Go to the next slide, please. In terms of other recent projects we've worked on, we're in the middle of delivering a 440 unit project in Wakefield, Massachusetts right now. That's on Lake Quannapowitt. The reason I put this in this presentation is for that community, a very highly sensitive property. It's also the largest development project, public or private, that's ever occurred in the town of Wakefield. So this was something that it really took a long period of time of community building to make sure that we got the right project, that we were respecting the natural resources in the right way there. But we got to the finish line, and it's a project that the community can be proud of. So go to the next slide. Just give you a little background here too. So in terms of the Penguin Hall property, at the moment, the property is not on the tax rolls. Like having been an academic institution for the last however many years. So we've put together some preliminary estimates of what that might mean in terms of new taxes to the town. We believe it'll be over $1 million new tax revenue once the property has 66 homes is open and stabilized.
Is that gross or net costs?
That's gross.
Thank you.
And then just a brief, until there's a real proposal, as you mentioned, these are just giving you our intentions of where we think the zoning is going to land. So this is in the independent living overlay district, the ILOD. So that the ILOD requires that a parcel must be 10 acres in size to qualify for that zoning. This is over 50 acres. We're more than double the amount of frontage required. 252 units are actually allowed as part of the zoning at this property. Our proposal is for 66. A big part of that is really just working with a lot of the current disturbed areas of the site and trying to minimize the amount of additional disturbance that we would have to introduce to the site. The zoning allows for 4 stories, we're proposing 3, and the zoning requires that 10% of the units be 80% AMI affordable, which is something that we will provide. So with that, just wanted to provide that intro. We have John Harden from Olson & Lewis, who will give a summary of the design considerations going in.
Can I ask some technical
Absolutely.
questions first, before we get into the design? Water and sewer is, full disclosure, my kids went to nursery school at Notre Dame Children's Class, and the rumor was always that parcel was the septic system for Penguin Hall, so
Yeah.
just confirming that in fact is true, and just confirming that you have water to support 66 units on that site.
Yeah, so we do. So that we are, part of the density constraints are definitely driven by that. Preliminarily, we do believe that we'll have 10,000 gallons per day of water and sewer available, which is enough to support this development. At the moment, we're trying to use as many of the existing systems as possible, including using the existing septic system on the property, providing any improvements that need to happen. Again, just trying to create as little new disturbance as possible to the property.
And is the water on site, like through wells, or
It's
is
not
it
through
through the
wells.
system?
Through town water.
Town water, okay. A question before I move to design. David? Yeah. Thank you.
John Harden, with Olson Lewis Architects. Nice to see you all. You go to the next slide. So I'm sure you all know the property fairly well, but I thought we'd just give you a quick little tour. By the way, our firm has been lucky enough, this would be at least the second time that we've worked on this building. When it went from being the home for many, many nuns to Mullen. We did the renovation work, not only to the manor house, but also the two wings as well, and added a floor to the other wing. So we've had a long history of this building, and you know, one of the unique things about Penguin Hall is that the manor house itself is in stunningly great condition because it's been repurposed several times over the years. So as I can attest to personally, the inside is in impeccable shape and really beautiful. And one of the goals of this project is to really make the best use that we can of this property. So we've ways in which we could do that, which we'll talk about now. But as you enter the property, which is the image there on the upper right, that's the entry off of Essex Street. But the manor house itself, as this road, as the drive winds through the woods, it seemed like this manor house was always intended to be this beautiful home in the middle of the woods. Unlike, let's say, the Crane Estate, which was up on the hill, this great axial thing, this thing was quiet, it was intimate, very private, and that's kind of how the whole property feels. So as you move down the road, go to the next slide. The home and the buildings slowly reveal themselves to you as you arrive. The image on the upper right, as you see there, this will be a point at which actually the road goes to the right, and it will in the future go to the left. As it goes to the right, it actually does go to the entry of Penguin Hall. And you would pass by that image down there on the lower right, which is the existing carriage house. We are actually looking at that carriage house, possibly trying to find a way to use it as part of the project. The plans that we have currently don't show that, but we think that there might be some feasibility in using that existing building. Next slide. And then as you continue up, of course, what you see there in the upper right-hand corner are these two wings. The first wing was added while the nuns were occupying the site. The second wing was added when Mullen took it over, and the roof pieces as well. And you know, this is the version of the property in which it was a large office building, and it was that way for a long time. The goal or the intent at the moment for this project is actually to peel back to the original manor house. So those two wings will go away. And the manor house would again be what it was in the 1930s in terms of its scope and of its size. We studied in great detail how we might reuse and repurpose those wings. While they're great offices, and I bet they were really great cells for nuns, they're not a good size for housing. They're simply too narrow. You could do single loaded corridors, but it's just not very efficient. And they're quite tall. They're actually 5 stories in the tallest if you went from the lowest level all the way to the top. So a lot of square footage, but not terribly great for the use that we've got. And then lastly, on the lower right-hand corner there, when you arrive to the front door, this image of Penguin Hall is one you rarely see actually, because you can't see it unless you drive up and you finally get to that destination. This very intimate, beautiful courtyard, which is kind of the character of whole property, intimate and small. Next slide.
Can I just ask?
Yeah.
You said you plan to reuse it. What would it become? Would it be a private home or would it be?
Oh, the house, you mean, the manor house? So we would use actually portions of the manor house for a few apartments, half a dozen, maybe 7 apartments, small, 1 bed, 2 beds sort of thing. But then most of the first floor would become common space. So for the over 55 folks who would live on this property, this would be a place that they could come.
Okay, great, thanks.
So as I mentioned, we've done work previously in this building. The image on the left there is a beautiful rendering of the floor plan. And the image on the right there is, have you guys ever seen Mad Men?
No.
This was Mad Men, I think, and at least that's how I think of it. It was an ad agency, and this room on the right, that screen there was high tech back when this was done. But there was a projection screen behind that would show images, and so people would be pitched their advertising things by the company in this room. But the detail, the quality of the space is all, to be honest, pretty incredible. And they did it in a way that it didn't ruin that beautiful manor house, which is the intent also of our project. Next slide. So the property itself, these are the property lines, it's just over 50 acres. The manor house, of course, is in the center. You can see those two wings coming off on the right-hand side. And then a large part of parking on the bottom, on the southern end of that part of the site. Next slide. And this was the real challenge. There are a lot of wetlands on this property.
And rock too.
And ledge and
Ledge,
topography, yes, there's a lot going on. So when we studied this and how to figure out where the best place would be to put anything new, we had to really wrap our heads around this first. So the yellow simply indicates where we don't have wetlands or
Right.
or anything that might inhibit our project. And this became our boundary essentially for what we would look at doing.
Interesting that it doesn't include that portion of the parking lot.
That's correct. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. And maybe setbacks have changed over the years, I don't know, but that was the portion, the area we're working in is trying to be outside of those setbacks. So here's a version of what we've been studying. Of course, we've been trying to balance what the capacity of the site could be with also what the market tells us that the project should be. So what we're showing right now are single family homes that are really wrapping around the top side of the manor house, and then some two family homes that are wrapping around the bottom side. In both cases, we're trying to maintain this idea of this meandering road that kind of comes in through the site. So the existing driveway, of course, is here, right? And this is where it splits. The parking lot is down here. We imagine people would stay to the right. This would become sort of a one-way street, if you will. And these homes would sort of surround the existing manor house. It's quite dense, but we're trying to maintain some of the existing elements of the house. For example, once you come through the manor house and onto this back area, there's a beautiful terrace, beautiful long terrace. There used to be a large circular pool in the back, which is actually now an underground tank, I believe, used for the a cistern for the sprinkler system. But it's a beautiful space, a very intimate space, not unlike the front courtyard. So the idea is to try and keep some of those and tie them together so that the whole property can still feel some of the same ways that it feels today.
So you've got 66 units plus or minus, but only one access point unless you're using the road, which I know goes all the way through to 20
Correct.
to Grapevine. That will be accessible.
Yeah.
You
Correct.
have to have an access point.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Just to clarify, so we have easement rights over there. The easement contemplates that really must be secondary life safety type of access.
And then we're starting to imagine what these would look like. They're over 55. So that would mean certainly a primary bedroom on the first floor, aging in place sort of situation. These are units for a different project that we've designed, but a very similar type of building. And next slide. And this is a 3D image of the property. And again, what we imagine it might look like. The idea really is several small groupings of homes and then some larger ones, but still grouped around some sort of common open space in the middle. And then the manor house still remains the primary and kind of like the jewel of the property. Easily walkable from all units, so they can get to that common space.
Would there be garages at each unit?
Yes. Yeah.
Can you go back?
Yeah,
So in the top right?
Yeah.
Is that off property?
It is.
That the, okay,
Correct.
that's the
Correct.
nursery school, right?
That's,
that's
Yeah,
not,
sisters.
that's,
Yeah.
that long building is not there now.
that's actually a parking lot. Yeah, looks like a building in full.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so that's.
That's a
okay.
big.
That's,
Yeah,
yes,
sometimes when these things get rendered, they look like something else. But that is the playground actually.
yeah, no, know it well.
And that subject field you're talking about is right behind it.
Right, it's at the playground, basically.
Yeah. So, what would this look like? These are just a couple of examples of projects of similar ones that we've done. This
And
is
these are your projects?
correct.
Okay,
Yes, this is in Manchester, actually right across the street from our office. This actually wasn't age restricted, but if they are duplexes connected by garages. But in terms of the language and the size of the units, this is very similar to what we're talking about. Next slide. Just some more close-ups of the architectural details. Very New England-like. And then this one, we worked on very early in the master planning concepts of it, just like this is just up the street
yeah,
at Boulders.
Boulders.
And this is, and I don't know if it's over 55 or,
I think so, yes.
yeah. So again, very similar in concept, smaller, of course, but the same idea of trying to organize a series of these buildings around some common space. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
We have some physical copies of the presentation that I'll leave behind.
Yeah,
Great.
we did.
Anybody questions for Kevin Forbes about this? David, do you have any thoughts, questions? That we haven't hit?
Not at this time.
Thanks.
I guess one just high level question, where are you in the time, like, what's your timeline and where, if we sat here today, how long until you think you would start doing something at the property itself versus regulatory and everything?
Oh, first of all, kind of hinges on the regulatory.
Yeah.
But assuming that we can get in the process in 3 months and get through it in 9, we'd like to be in a position by next summer to be starting to do some real improvements. Phasing all that'll very much is TBD how that works out, but yeah, that's what we're thinking.
I actually do have a question, and I apologize. I think Ann covered this earlier, but I didn't quite understand the answer. Has the bankruptcy court made a determination on the sale order, or is that still pending among competing parties?
So we have a purchase contract to buy the site. Sale order has not been completed.
Okay. All right, one more question. So hypothetically, there's interesting parcels adjacent, plus or minus to this parcel, one of which is the sister's property, another of which is town-owned across the street at Iron Rail, another of which is down the road. I just raised it because it's been raised as a potential site of development at the Woodland parking lot, I think at Gordon College. How do you see your potential development of this Penguin Hall as potentially relating to any of these other sites that may experience development? Is that something of interest to you as a potential developer of this site? Or do you see it as not really relevant to how you would intend to develop this site?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting point. I would say as a developer, in terms of our general interest, we're typically, the way we're gonna approach anything is we have one hallmark project at a time that we're gonna spend all of our effort in trying to figure out. For this community, it's this project. The extent that there are synergies between the different properties, we're more than happy to try to explore them. I think, from my point of view, we think that this proposal to date, and of course, it's a very soft proposal, but this idea, we think it sets a strong precedent for what some of these other 55 plus potential communities in the future could look like. But beyond that, that's the only real relation.
I guess, yeah, that's fair. I mean, I guess, this is all pretty hypothetical, but I guess, in principle, if you had non-residential developments at these other neighboring sites, whether it be, medical offices or retail of a type that's attractive to the folks that you would intend to have living on this site, or dining, these types of things. I mean, is that of interest in terms of a development opportunity to someone like your firm, or is that something that's just outside the scope of interest?
It might be. I think all the uses that you just mentioned are synergistic with what we're proposing here, and I think would make for, generally speaking, more success at this parcel. I don't think this parcel on its own can support those, but I think in the context of multiple different development sites happening at once, development project happening at once, yeah, I think those are all synergistic, and that would make for, part of the reason behind the Manor House for us is we really want, we had to keep the Manor House. It's a beautiful thing to keep. There were a lot of things we could have done. We could have just, made it one big single family home and sold it off.
Yeah,
right?
I was wondering about that.
And
Glad to hear you're not.
yeah. And for us and our interest in doing the project, the only way we can make it a hallmark project is to bring everyone in as a community center for the project.
Would you do dining there?
It's something we've looked at. I think it's hard to
I realize
execute.
it'd be something we would need to work with you on, but.
Yeah, it's hard to execute. We've looked at it. I think we'll continue to look at it. We would want to do something like that if it was financially feasible. But the point I'm getting to here is any sort of common space, third space for the residents here, whether it's on site or off-site, is a huge plus. So to the extent that those other development projects happen and have some sort of retail or medical office or whatever use, definitely view that as positive.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody have any more questions? No? Thank you for coming in.
Thank you all.
Okay, the next thing is on the agenda, since we moved this one up, is the discussion on the 47 Maple Streets. Have you had a conversation with them again?
I have,
Because I just drove by there the other day and it's still.
they're waiting for the weather to turn a little bit before they try to do anything.
Could be tomorrow with that.
Yeah.
I would say it's broken already, except I know it hasn't, because I drove through Vermont.
It was snowing 2 days ago.
3 inches of snow on the ground inside Vermont.
My raised beds are still frozen solid.
Yeah, okay,
So.
but they
are
do know what we're
doing-
talking about,
Yes,
and they
they
do
do.
know that they're gonna do something.
Yeah, and I sent them the photos that you had sent me, with the same examples of the stone walls that they need to follow. Yeah, he seems to, he understands what he has to do. And,
Which-
but we'll keep
Yeah.
on, right, and make sure that, they start to get to the work as soon as weather get better, I guess.
So it might be June, but
Might
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was in Philadelphia this weekend and it's a rude awakening coming.
was it warmer down?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
and flowers are blooming, and trees, yes, yes. Okay. Well, that's helpful. And then the other thing is, does anybody have anything they want to talk about the warrant articles?
I have a question that hopefully Gary might be able to answer.
Yeah,
This
this one,
No, not one of ours. I have a question with the stretch energy code article.
okay, see, I told you.
Um,
I did too before you.
so, oh, I missed that.
It's okay.
What did the Finance and Advisory Committee, have they made a recommendation?
The, let me check the book, I think that's, outside their purview. Decide what's
It
the
says
number?
they may make it a town meeting,
Okay.
is
Yeah,
what the
so I
book
think,
says.
let me see, what number is that?
I think it's
A
16.
16. I'll take some notes. Yes, I think they said they weren't prepared. Hadn't received the full information that I think Kate was gonna get it to them. Today and tomorrow, so they may make a recommendation,
Okay,
but I think too, it's there's also the question, I think, on that one, whether it's. Actually within the FinCom's purview.
was there, did, I apologize, I missed the warrant hearing, so I probably should have attended, but did this select board, have you, I know you recommended it 5-0, but was there discussion of potential increased costs if we adopt this and what effect that might have?
Yeah, so the if you're really interested, I think probably the best one is Sue Petrolia from the Climate Action. Is that up on the website for a briefing?
I watched part of it, I haven't
Yeah.
watched the whole
So
thing,
essentially, yes, so it's new construction only,
right?
depending on the size of the building. Essentially, I think it's under 4,000. It's, you still have the
Yeah, the
option, but you only have to have it solar ready or electric ready. Over 4,000 feet, you must install solar PV to offset carbon use if you decide to go with the carbon. And over 12,000 is, you also need to meet the passive house standards. So I think they had the numbers up. I think on the big briefing, don't quote me, but I think it was about 3% add to the construction costs.
Page 35.
There's a lot of trees that are gonna have to be taken down to do that too. Like I know.
Yeah, but there are exceptions, you know,
For solar? you mean?
for the solar
Yeah.
is not mandatory if you can demonstrate that, you know. Your orientation's wrong or the trees
Yeah,
are wrong or so
yeah, yeah.
forth.
I mean,
So-
obviously, if it's new construction, you can cite it, but
Yes, and that's
you
all this
wouldn't want to
applies.
encourage people to strip lots in order to do that.
Yes, you don't wanna do that, but this, as I said, it's only new construction anyhow, so it's gonna be coming through you. And probably Concom for most properties in town as well. So all our current regulations protect the landscape still is in effect. This applies just to the type of construction. You
Right,
have to comply with the current code, and this, as they say, it's specialized, it goes beyond the stretch code to ensure. You know, essentially electric ready or electric offset, depending on how large your building is.
So thank you, so I had the opportunity to talk to a few engineers about this, and the sense that I got was that this is definitely gonna increase costs for construct, I mean, I know you said 3%.
definitely no.
And my concern from a planning board perspective is if we're making a push for affordable housing or varied units, is this something that we wanna lay on top of what
Well,
we already
it's
have?
optional if you're under 4,000 square feet, so.
Well, you still have to electrify, you have to make it available for electrification in the future, right? Even if it's under 4,000
Yes,
square
but-
feet.
But basically, all you're talking there is
Fuel
a
costs for
higher
power.
amperage main panel. And perhaps pre-wire to a roof.
And with fuel costs the way they are, electric heat might be cheaper.
Well,
And
right, but the
gas
electricity
or-
is still coming from the same place, right?
Yeah.
And we have, I think I heard the second highest residential electricity rates in the country.
Yes, true, but we also have high natural gas prices.
Yeah.
High oil prices, and those are not going down.
Right. I saw something in here about, I don't mean to put you on the spot
Yeah.
either, yeah.
It's good that you're here.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. About getting grants for the school MSB, is it MSBA? If we're. Is it?
Which
Whatever,
one are
you're
you-
eligible for.
climate
$1
leader,
million,
community status, and then school
Yes.
building authority,
The school building authority.
3% incentives.
Yeah.
Right, could we still do that without adopting the stretch energy card? Like, could we, for the particular project, right? You could require a school building to be
Yeah, you still have to, you could require the building to meet, like
without,
the gold standards and so forth.
Right.
Yeah,
But, I have to go to Margaret or Kate
okay,
or building as to. Because, the district's its own kind of a entity as well. So, but what they're talking about also here, the grants we're talking about. Is, for municipal
right,
grants.
okay. I don't want us to be working at sort of cross
Yeah,
purposes.
because,
Right.
For our
No,
planning,
because-
I know it's in our
and
master
you gotta
plan,
go
that
back
we
to
wanna,
Article 10 or 12.
yeah,
The big solar. For the district is to have the high school roof ready.
yeah.
And that
Oh, God.
is required by the state
Mhm.
in order to get that 45% contribution from the state.
And it's
So
the
that-
best location in town. if
Oh,
you
yes.
Look at the state
Wide
maps.
open. So, yeah, so as I understand it, the 45% contribution by the state to the high school roof renovation. Is dependent upon
So,
having it built for solar ready. And once it's solar ready, then the district will go out and look for grants to actually put their
put solar.
solar on top. As we did with the library.
Right.
Okay.
I had a question about, the iron rail. Solar lease, as long as
Yes.
it's on solar.
Hmm.
There's no recommendation in here from the select board,
Yeah, so we
and we're
did,
not going to be given any.
we did
permits until
the,
after
made our
the-
recommendation
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tuesday night.
I'm sorry?
Tuesday night, we had the meeting,
Oh,
but
you, but it's not in the book, so. I'm
no,
thinking-
because it's pre,
And I was traveling, so
yes.
taking
So,
advantage of it.
so we voted unanimous to endorse. It had been delayed because there's still some questions between the purchase versus the lease option. And we eventually went with the lease option, knowing that the town really doesn't have the technical maintenance O&M expertise to maintain the system. So we said, it's much better to just lease the property and
Right.
basically send us a check.
And FinCom is also voted at this point or not?
Yeah, they do that.
Yes, I believe they voted Tuesday, this was a
You know
joint
what-
meeting.
Do you know what their vote was?
I think they were unanimous too. Yeah, check the minutes.
Okay. Anybody else have any?
no, that was the major one that jumped out at me
Well,
about
it's
for
interesting,
planning purposes,
They're
so.
doing the stretch code before the climate change resolution, which would
What's the-
feel like you would flip it.
Isn't the climate change resolution just sort of a sense of the?
It's a goal, but then 16 is a step toward the goal. Anyway, the way my head works. And then the final thing is,
I think we're gonna have a quorum at Article 16, 17.
well, this is the question. This is the question that I have about Article 22, where we have to dispose of the town-owned property on Boulder Lane to be
Yes.
able to do MBTA PA properly.
Yeah, we have.
So we just gotta keep 120 for the quorum?
That what it is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I guess it's tomorrow night, we'll find out.
Yes.
What are the override articles? Are they like 4 or 5?
Number two, so it's the Article 1 is the entire municipal budget. And the school budget up to the level limit for the schools. And then Article 2 is the add-on. That drives the school budget to an override. So Article 1 will fund
Easy.
everything up to the level limit. And then Article 2 is, do you want to spend more money
Main
on
event.
the school?
Okay. I'm just wondering if we're gonna get a quorum for the town-owned property on Boulder Lane, which, as we know, is needed. We
Yeah.
need to do that, so. The only other question I had is on the 1A, the Main Street, I've seen in the past, like sketches of the plan for the Main Street project. the
Yes.
DOT project. Are they all, is it pretty much the same as we've already seen? I know Kate's on maybe. Do you have a picture, Kate, that? I looked on the town website and it was very, very tiny.
So, yeah, the scale on
There's a
the
presentation.
temporary easements, it's. Because it's the area they had to cover, but if you look at the square footage on the easements, they're very small, down to 4 square feet, a couple here and so forth. And Kate, you've already talked to all the butters now, right?
Yes. So myself and
can't
our
really see what it's-
DPW director, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Kate, sorry.
Oh, okay. So myself and our DPW director, Rich, went out. We've talked to all of the people that would be affected by the easements. They're really small easements, like the end of a driveway will be repaved, a fence will come down, but then we'll pay people to put the fence back up. So, it's actually pretty straightforward. And everybody has, been really receptive to the whole process.
I was just kind of hoping to see a map here and figure out. Yeah, this is better than when I tried to look at it online at home. And there's a traffic light, right?
Yep, there'll
Yeah,
be a
the-
traffic light, right on Main Street and Friend Street, so right by Town Hall and then over by Cherry Street as well.
So there'll be two.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah,
realize there were
two.
gonna be two.
Yeah.
You're gonna
I thought
do
it was
two.
only one.
So that Arbor, Friend, are they realigning any of that intersection?
Slightly changing the Friendport Town Hall corner,
Yeah,
right?
you
So
would
you guys
have
stay
to put a
across.
light in.
Yeah, so there's your more detailed.
That might be too much detail. And then where is the other light?
So the,
Cherry?
yeah, so Cherry, in front of the Maples,
Right,
So
the one
they're-
that's super hard to
yes.
turn out, well, not as bad as Monument,
Yeah.
but still.
So the lights will be sequenced or tied together so that there'll be time to allow traffic out of Monument
No,
in
it's the
between.
map, Margaret, that's not.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember that.
It's the less complicated map that,
So we're gonna be doubling the amount of traffic lights we have in town?
yeah.
Tripling by the time you count the poles, because the one at
Oh.
here at Arbor is gonna actually be 5 poles, I think.
Wow.
Here's the
So-
Cherry Street.
So, and I think what they're realigning the entrance into the Maples a little bit with that, right, to square it up.
Monument stays the same.
Monument stays the same, although I think that
Monument's
the
gonna-
corner
Yeah.
may be adjusted a little bit, you can see. At least the marked road will be clearer rather than not the 3 abreast
Yeah. So
coming out, so.
crazy.
Oh,
And the same thing, I think, on Cherry Street too, there'll be a much more defined roadway.
And when does this happen?
This passes, I think they were talking about contract RFP in August,
yeah,
and then probably dirt moves in next spring.
Correct, Gary, exactly.
Yeah. I should
Okay.
refer out each time to Kate, the expert on this.
Baby.
okay. Well. Exciting news. Yeah, what does it do to that? Traffic flow off of Monument.
Well, the lights will be timed supposedly, so that they'll be intermediate, both ends will be red for a bit. So that Monument traffic gets out as well.
And presumably they take off the little pedestrian light at the post office.
Yeah, the post office light goes away.
Oh, then we won't be doubling,
No,
taking one away.
it'll be 3 total. Okay. Those are the questions I had, and then we have the meeting minutes, unless somebody else has anything on the warrant. I have some changes to the meeting minutes, but I appreciate what you did, so.
Like 2 tiny nits, I think, maybe 3.
Well, I had some about what I was saying, and it might be just that I had a bad head cold. You couldn't really make out what I was trying to say, but. If we can go to those, I can tell you what my changes are.
Can I give you mine? Mine are above where you're gonna start.
Okay. And waiting for, Margaret, so that
Yeah,
David can see what we're doing.
David, can you see the minutes?
Oh, wait, are they already read them? Oh,
Yeah, let me,
Yeah, cause Scott somewhere last week.
So this is, done with all the markings.
oh, okay, so you see the, 1, 2, 3rd paragraph down in the red,
In here?
town bylaws has an extra apostrophe S.
Yep.
And at the, one more, take that S out,
Is there another S
you
there?
get 2 S's now.
Okay.
At the end of that sentence, or end of that line, it says to set at the, and I don't think you need the at.
The paragraph above that has a change from me.
Higher the bond, to set the amount of the bond level, okay.
Where it says. Almost 80 acres at the Iron Rail property. I think it should say. On a portion that was previously
The last
used.
one, for the
Yeah.
second paragraph. one.
Yeah, the last line in the second paragraph, I'm talking
79.4.
Yeah.
it says on previously used, it should say on a portion of the property previously used. It's used for soccer too.
That little spot was used for soccer?
Yeah.
Quite certain, I used to coach on
You
it.
could just say sports.
First,
Yeah.
It's sports, children's sports.
You want me to change that or just leave baseball and softball?
Just, I would say just youth sports.
Youth sports.
Youth sports, okay.
So and then the next change I had was in,
Oh, you erased the whole bunch of those
oh,
Undo that.
no, you gotta undo that, start over, cause you took out.
What was that?
You,
I think
you,
our highlight went too big.
just go backwards, just go back,
Undo.
undo.
Control Z.
How did they end up there though? Oh, wait a minute, all right. hold
Because you
on. Just do
highlighted
one.
it all and, yeah,
There you go.
there you
Oh,
go.
sorry.
Yeah, on a
okay,
personal property, previously used for youth sports.
okay. Sports,
And then just get rid of that, yeah. You got an extra space there, that I get it. Just back up one.
Let me do that.
Put in period.
It's weird.
The track changes, it's weird when you get so many.
Yeah, okay,
Ah,
it'll work out.
You need a space after the word presented,
Whereabouts? in-
down, straight down. The 2 line paragraph.
Down here.
was presented
Oh,
and presented
Yeah.
and.
That's all I have.
And then my changes are in the paragraph about what I said. So,
On this one,
yeah, and 8 weeks left in National Grid.
just in natural grazing.
And then what I was, yeah, I think what this is I had questions about a National Grid report.
Okay,
So I would say 8 weeks. Questioned. I'm not even sure I would say questioned, actually, come to think of it. I would just say asked about a portion of a National Grid report. Submitted. With the application. In which National Grid maintained it had the right
all right.
to place the solar system in another
National
location.
Grid report,
Submitted with the application.
let me just get rid of this. Okay,
Just more words saying more precisely what I was talking about, in which National Grid maintained it had the final. Right to place the solar system in another location, and that's already there. It had the final right,
maintained it had the final right.
you have the,
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can stop.
you can
Yep.
stop because, and then you get rid of everything, including the word right.
Final right, yep. To place,
Good.
To,
Yep, I got it.
yep. You got that T, yes,
got it.
that's
Place
all
the
I had.
solar System, the solar system. Is that, how about the solar?
The solar system, the
Is that-
solar array.
Yeah, the solar
array.
array, maybe we'll call it.
Yeah,
the solar
that,
array.
those 9 planets, you know, we don't like them where they are.
Location. Okay,
But, and then then she's got this language should not be in the final agreement. It's not that so much as,
yeah,
I was noting that the language should not be in the final report. It was a draft report that they submitted.
okay,
S. Clark explained, blah, 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 blah. And then he believed the final set of plans would be adequate.
newly submitted set of plans would be adequate, is that good, what she has here?
No, because it's not the newly submitted, it's the final submitted set of plans. The newly submitted ones were the ones that came in the night before the hearing.
Okay.
He
fine,
was
okay.
saying that what I gave you was just a draft, you'll get the final one.
Should we wanna put would or should be?
Well, I think he was arguing that they would be, so we're paraphrasing this man's words. Okay, thank you, that's all, I just wanted to clarify what it was that I was saying.
Right? Davis, did you have anything?
Nothing on my,
Right. I need a
I move to approve the minutes as amended.
second. Okay, I'll have a motion and a second, all in favor.
I,
Aye from Anderson. Anything else we haven't talked about tonight? We were gonna have a, conversation with the consultant about the subdivision changes. When, do we
Yeah,
set that meeting?
Yeah, we set a new date for that.
June second.
Yeah, and I sent everyone that email. Let me just,
Yeah,
get rid of
probably,
this.
I've been
I know.
traveling for the
I
last.
sent you guys a lot of emails.
Well, and I've been traveling for. Oh, well. Again,
I
this
think it's April 22nd. Was that the last, let me just take my calendar.
that would be Earth Day. I don't see anything on my calendar.
Yeah, April 22nd, Earth Day at 6 p.m.
Okay,
We'll do it here, and I don't know if they'll join us by Zoom or if they'll be in person, but.
okay,
okay.
move to adjourn until April 22nd, 6 p.m.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor to adjourn until April 22nd at 6 p.m. And a second, all in favor, Weeks says aye.
Aye.
Anderson. Hope you get to
Aye.
come home soon.